You know, sometimes I get annoyed with the Star Wars fandom because a lot of them are willfully ignorant and get mad over nothing, which is something I've been running into a lot lately because I had the unmitigated gall to cover the Acolyte. But this comment right here is not an example of that. This is just an honest-to-God misunderstanding, and I actually thank you for this comment. To sum up their comment, one of the things that they didn't like about the show was that it seemed to disregard some canon, specifically with some details regarding Ki-Adi-Mundi and with some details concerning the twins' creation. And we'll start with Ki-Adi-Mundi because there's two things that seem to rub people the wrong way. The first one being that because Ki-Adi-Mundi says that the Sith were extinct in episode 1, that he shouldn't have been involved in the Acolyte to begin with. However, this one is a moot point because Ki-Adi-Mundi is never made privy to the fact that the Sith are active during this time. Any and everybody who believed that a Sith was involved in this plot either died, had their memory wiped, or switched sides at the end. May, who didn't even know who her master was, got her memory wiped. Sol, who was the only other person who heard the word Sith come out of Kymir's mouth, was murked by the end of the show. Osha went on to join Kymir, and anybody else involved is actively covering it up. Yes, the Jedi that were killed by Kymir were killed by lightsabers, but Sol was ultimately framed for those deaths. But even before they came to that conclusion, they believed that it might be the work of a rogue or fallen Jedi. And while a Sith can be a fallen or rogue Jedi, a rogue or fallen Jedi does not always mean it's necessarily a Sith. And yes, that is applicable even if they have bled their lightsaber crystal. So by the time Ki-Adi-Mundi says that the Sith have been extinct for 1,000 years in the Phantom Menace, he has every right to still believe that. Because as far as he's concerned, everything that transpired in the Acolyte was done by a rogue Jedi Master. The other thing that gets people hung up is Ki-Adi-Mundi's birthday, which was different in the Episode 1 Insider's Guide from 1999. But even though that is an official source, that doesn't mean it is a canon source. For example, Mace Windu in that exact same guide is said to have had a blue lightsaber. And even if we go with the cop-out answer of maybe it was different before the Phantom Menace, I didn't see the same amount of people foaming at the mouth when he popped up with a purple lightsaber in Tales of the Jedi, which is set before Phantom Menace. It's sort of like how the original Battlefront 2 was an official LucasArts production. However, despite the clones being more than aware of their orders to kill the Jedi within this official release, in canon, before George Lucas even sold Star Wars, he made it so that the clones all had inhibitor chips and were unaware of Order 66. As for the twins, I understand the confusion, but this is also a moot point. Anakin Skywalker was an immaculate conception created by the Force itself just because the Force decided to. The twins were created by the witches of Brendok using Night Sister magic and the power of a virgins. Anakin Skywalker is himself a virgin, whereas these two were created using the power of a virgin. Furthermore, Night Sister magic and its ability to manipulate life force is not a new concept. Utilizing magic to return life to the lifeless is not a new thing. Using magic to enhance an individual is not a new thing. And using magic to perform supernatural feats is not a new thing. So them creating life falls well within their range of abilities. But as always, that's just my opinion. As always, I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite Star Wars thing, be it a game, show, or movie? Leave it in the comments, let me know.